Hello everyone, welcome to Retro Recreation. This is the third episode of my Final Fantasy VII series. I hope you enjoy it. We have something very interesting today. I'm still figuring out my setup and hope you guys are a bit lenient with me since I'm now starting up with this thing. I'm usually not this talkative, so this is also something that I'm not accustomed to. So I'm trying to be as open and as straightforward as possible with my audio and who I am. I hope you guys have patience with me on this. I hope to try to get better and improve on this channel, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Today we're tackling interiors. So the past few videos were exteriors of the scene, the outside, but today we're tackling an interior. And of course, since we're going to tackle the first interior, I chose a very special one, which is Avalanche's base. Of course, those who know the game understands that unfortunately in the remake we did not get to see Avalanche's base underneath the bar, which is very, very sad because I really liked the base. It felt very comfy, kind of secure, safe, away from prying eyes, and it was nice to know Avalanche had like a hidden base for the members to hide out in. So in terms of complexity, it wasn't that difficult. It was pretty straightforward. Lots of rust and metals, of course. And I really do like hard surface modeling, so of course I'm very happy with this. And I do like my grunge and my metallic textures, so this kind of fit into my love of metal and steel. For those who played the original game, Cloud, after the bombing run, I believe he slept here within Avalanche's secret hideout instead of the remake where he actually slept at a inn, which I'm not too sure how I felt about it because I really liked Avalanche's base hideout, and it was, it was a bit sad not seeing it come to life, but since I'm recreating it, I can easily make it come to life for myself. Of course, as I do some of these models and whatnot, I may use some base models from Chaos Corona to save on time. Sometimes they tend not to be the most or the best geometry base models. So most of the time I would just build them out myself. There's one fortunate thing that I really unfortunately wasn't able to get was the artwork on the boards and the paper, because I'm not too sure what to really look for in terms of this, and I can't really see the details from these. So as I guess a bit of an Easter egg for this episode, I chose some designs I found online and I placed it. One other Easter egg was on the boxer bag. I could not make out that exact image, so what I did was, what would Barrett really enjoy punching? And I got a picture of the Shinra president and I placed it on the bottom punching bag, which I believed he would quite enjoy. Another one is of course the TV, which of course in every episode or scene, if there is a monitor, I would actually like to always put the Final Fantasy 7 intro logo and have it there as a nice little Easter egg. I was worried about building out the avalanche flag. To be very honest, I really didn't know the avalanche flag looked like that until today, which was very surprising. I actually did not remember this at all, so it came as a shock. I didn't know avalanche had a flag. So interestingly, it was really cool to actually see this and learn something new about the game. So I looked online and I was very, very lucky, I would say, to find a high-res image of the flag. And of course I built it out as a texture and applied it, and it came out pretty well, pretty decent. Of course, my aim is to always try to incorporate all the smaller details within the scene. And one of those details was, of course, the cigarettes and the can and the remote and those small little items within the scene to just be as authentic as possible to the full scene itself. And I try not to leave anything out. Of course, there is some things that I need to interpret because I'm not too certain because of the quality. Building out the TV was pretty fun, to be honest. Making this big, blocky, huge TV, which kind of reminded me of my childhood, which we actually had a really blocky, humongous, heavy TV, and it just brought back many memories because I actually played most of my games on that that TV, that television, because I didn't have a flat screen until my later years, so yeah. Of course, we also see our old-time computer. Now, I did not build out that computer from scratch. I got it from another project, which I did. So I just pulled that computer out. If you looked closely, you'll see me open the file and just pull out the computer and place it on the desk, because to me the computer fits really well with the scene. So there's never a need to do double the work. You always try to be as efficient as possible. Building out the avalanche flag, some professionals would probably ask, why wouldn't I just simulate and use dynamics to make the flag drape or fall or whatnot? But since I was looking at what was there already, I wanted to recreate that exact look, and it wasn't anything too complex. And to me, dynamics is really fun, really cool, but you tend to have a lot of problems and you tend to go a lot of back and forths. So to just eliminate that, I tend to, just for efficiency and speed's sake, I tend to just manually just tweak it. And once it's tweaked, once it's simple, you can always get away with it. Of course, the smaller items like the cup, like the metal can, I probably put away too much effort and detail, but I was really having fun with this one, and I just felt like it could really use it, you know. For me, my heart's always in the details. I really love to do scenes that has as much detail as humanly possible. Well, I try to, because I of course learned early on it is very important to be as efficient as possible so you don't go too overboard. So when I finish model, there's something that I always do. I would say to those who are, of course, familiar with 3D and looking at my files, they would notice that I am incredibly messy with my files. When I'm doing official work, I try to be as organized as possible, but for like passion projects, I love to just go with the flow and not just take time to rename and to figure out naming conventions and whatnot. I just love to just continue and just ride the flow or ride the feeling of wanting to create. What I always do, I don't like messy files. I hate messy files. And working several years in the industry, that is a really big no-no. So what I actually do like to enjoy, what I've come to enjoy anyway, is going into my files and cleaning them up, renaming, putting in nulls, grouping them, and putting them under hierarchies, and of course making it completely structured. And I love optimizing my files also, but of course I leave that after, where I'm more grounded and I don't need to figure out the design for stuff. Of course you'll see I took certain elements from different scenes I've done, like the train scene and the outer train, the first train scene, and the exterior train. Sometimes when you build certain materials and it really works well and you're happy with it, sometimes you just want to just carry over those same materials and reuse them. After all, some materials could be a little bit more complex, and since you took time to build all these materials, you really want to just keep on utilizing them and you keep on reusing them. Same as your lighting or your cameras. Sometimes you've saved a really nice lighting setup that you really like and you just want to keep using it. So in terms of the scene, of course, the avalanche room is well lit, meaning that there are like fluorescent lights that are shining down. I kept that within my design of building out the lighting setup. I wanted some light to come off from the TV and the computer monitors. Within the original scene, the boxing bag light is not on, but I really wanted it on because I wanted to show a bit of contrast to the scene, which had a lot of blue light, and I just wanted to add that contrast light within the scene to make it a bit more interesting. For those who are familiar with Corona Renderer that I use, they've introduced an interesting set of materials, but unfortunately I tend to stray away from using those because I really like the visual feedback from the viewport. When I apply materials onto objects, of course the material is blurry, so I tend to just raise the resolution of the material itself, and I can visually get feedback on how this material is being placed on to the object itself, which for me it saves a lot of time and effort, and I can see how things wrap and just adjust and whatnot. I usually tend to do a lot of cubic mapping for my scenes, primarily because my beginning was in architectural visualization, which is a lot of just four walls, and there is no big organic structures, or if the organic structures are there, it's of course it's not that complex or complicated. So I've grown very accustomed to just utilizing cubic mapping, and don't worry about UVs too much because cubic mapping saves the day for me, or triplanar, and for me it just works quite a bit, because when you go into the realm of UV mapping, you have to unwrap the UVs, which, depending on the complexity of the object, takes a lot of time. It's something I probably should do, but because of the time constraint I have with these things, and just the work I've done for a long time, I've never gotten the need or seen the need to push myself to get this type of mapping other than cubic for myself done. With the new set of materials, unfortunately, the visuals don't really change when I place it on the materials itself. It could be just I don't necessarily know very well or I don't necessarily know how to utilize the materials too well, so I'll probably have to look into that and see if I can find workarounds to fit into my workflow. But because I don't see any visual feedback when I utilize cubic or UV mapping, I tend to just utilize the legacy materials and just skip the new and improved set of materials. To me, it's all just once I can see it, I am happy on how it's going to turn out and the look, and that, of course, always to me is the most efficient thing that could be utilized. Of course, I don't use too much node-based stuff in my building of materials, because I've used it, but not too much. And when I utilize node base, I can get very complex materials into one material and make it work. But for a lot of stuff I do or tend to do, it's not that detailed, and I can easily just work around it with just simple materials instead of all these materials being hyper complex. The goal, of course, is to try to work within the lines of what's the most efficient and not go too overboard with materials, because if it can visually look as what you would like it to look, then there's no more need to do anything that is more time consuming or problematic. Once you can get something that works for you and it saves on time, it's efficient and it works, then you usually move on to something more important within the scene. So of course you have different levels of importance, and if you're focusing on one particular small object within the scene and this object is hyper detailed, so you'll take a lot of time, a lot of effort within that small object materials to get the right look and the photorealism that you want to achieve. But for the surroundings, you tend to be more straightforward in terms of what look you would like and what you could achieve at a quick and efficient time frame. As much as it pains me to ask, I really hope you guys like, share, and subscribe, which hopefully will grow the channel into something a little bit bigger, which I can hopefully take a bit more time to do up more stuff at a faster rate. So thank you and have a good day.